Today, the Red Bull X Fighters contest brings the elite of freestyle motocross to Osaka, Japan, and to the grounds of the beautiful Osaka Castle. Troy Mannering and Andy Bell on duty for you as we get to the second stop of the 2014 season, ready to go underway with round number one. Andy, we've seen some quality riding in the earlier qualification round. What can we expect to see leading to the all-important round one for these four guys that are going to be riding?
Well, we saw some amazing qualifying runs yesterday, not just from the regular tour riders, but also we had a 5-rider Japanese All-Japan qualifying round for the wild card position. These guys were throwing down, and it's crazy. We have 3 Japanese riders going into round one here today. So if their riding is going to be anything like what we're looking at down in front of us with this opening ceremony, what are we at, the Olympics or something? They are going all out here in Osaka.
It's pretty amazing. Here's how it works. The top 7 riders from the qualifying round will sit out round one, and all the other riders will compete in reverse ranking order. Each rider will have 60 seconds on course. Inverted or rotational tricks are typically not allowed, so that means no backflips, front flips, 360s, or inverted varials, etc. However, each rider in round one here is allowed a single joker or unrestricted trick. The top scored rider from round one will advance through to round 2 or the quarterfinal, where he will be awarded the number 8 seed, and unfortunately for whoever happens to be that person, will have to compete against the qualification winner, in this case Levi Sherwood, who's on a tear.
He is absolutely on a tear. It's so great to see Levi back in his old school form, I'd say. He looked like he was having so much fun bringing new tricks to the table. He absolutely threw down yesterday and looked just like a revitalized Levi Sherwood, the Levi Sherwood that burst onto the scene 6 years ago.
Yeah, and I mean, he's really back in his 2011 form, where we saw him tear up the World Tour. So it's going to be a hard-fought contest for him, no doubt about it, because there's a lot of other great riders coming out there. But the first thing that we have to concern ourselves with is, like we've been talking about, is round number one. And the guys that are going to be riding in round number one, in reverse order of this list, are going to be Kota Kugimura, Daisuke Suzuki, Libor Podmol, and Taka Higashino. And you were mentioning earlier on this opening show. I mean, what an incredible way for these riders to come out and be introduced. Look at the pageantry and the fanfare that's going on here. And when you come to an event like this, the Japanese, they don't go halfway. This is an all-out situation for them. And how incredible, hey?
Well, I was thinking that up till this point, I think Australia had put on the biggest opening show of any of the Red Bull X Fighters we've done, but I think Japan is just one-upping everybody right now. There must be 100 performers out there, fully costumed. They got the flowers going. The riders are just kind of going in between them, not sure whether to treat it like the run into the bulls that they do in Madrid, or just to kind of leave these costume performers alone. But it's incredible how many people are out here. We didn't even see them rehearse this yesterday, so
it's amazing. And you can see here as our camera pans by the riders as they come out. Our final rider, Levi Sherwood, just rolled onto course, and each of those flags behind them has their country flag as well as their name on it. And each of the rider has been given a gift of a I don't know what they're called in Japanese, but the jacket there has their names on it. It is just an absolutely fantastic bit of pageantry to open up this second event on the 2014 Red Bull X Fighters World Tour. It is amazing to see, and you know what? It's going to be hard to top this as far as openings is concerned the rest of this season long, and the riding is still to come. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, we haven't even started the exciting part of the show. We're already excited. There's fireworks going off. A few minutes ago, the entire course was so covered with smoke that we couldn't even see what was going on down there. They are sparing no expense for this crowd of, I think it's over 20,000 people have been through here this weekend.
Over this weekend, it's been more than 20,000 people, and the arena is absolutely sold out where we are right now. So, yeah, it's something that is very special, especially the location where we are at the moment in front of the Osaka Castle in the gardens here. And you know, the Japanese have really embraced the sport, and for the very fact that they love the sport so much, they have such a good stock of riders here that they had to do that wild card qualification round in order to satisfy the thirst for riders that the Japanese audience has.
And we hardly ever see that, the invited qualifier for the wild card position. But like we said, there's 5 guys going at it yesterday. 3 of them had flares. They all had big backflip tricks. We saw guys pulling down. Genki was, I mean, I was blown away that a guy at his level didn't go through as we see Levi Sherwood, first one on the course, pulling the old school air wheelie out there. It would have made Ronnie Mack proud.
Well, right now what the guys are doing is they're just getting out on course, having one last loop around as an entire group to blow out their bikes, get a little bit of their timing organized again, and then once that is done, they will all exit the course, and the only guys that will be left out there will be Taka Higashino, Libor Podmol, Daisuke Suzuki, and Kota Kugimura. And those are the 4 guys that will battle it out in round number 1. And let's not forget, 7 guys have already advanced to the quarterfinal round, so it's up to rather these 4 guys to battle hard, because only one of them will be joining the rest in the quarterfinals.
And they'll have about 3 minutes to pat themselves on the back, grab a drink of water, and relish in the victory, because as soon as they're done, like you said, they're going to be going up against Levi Sherwood in the quarterfinal. And the way that Levi's riding right now, coming off a win in Mexico City, and really, he rode well in Mexico City. What we saw yesterday in qualifying, I would say, was twice as good as his winning run.
Absolutely there. On fire.
So, yeah, on fire. He's happy. He's chilled out. I was just hanging out with him in the rider lounge. He's just relaxed. He's like, I want to get this going. I'm bored right now. We've been sitting for 4 hours. Yeah. I just want to ride my dirt bike. It'll all come when it's supposed to come. And he's got that look in the eye that I think it's his to lose. And our guys like Dany Torres and the rest of the crew are really going to have to step up here to take him down.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I mean, when he's on fire and when he's riding relaxed and having fun out there, there's no stopping him. But let's not forget, we've got a bunch of guys out there that are high-quality riders when it comes down to the quarterfinals. Rob Adelberg and Matt Rabeau. Matt Rabeau has been out of the scene for quite a while, but he comes back strong. He's got a Flair 540 of his own. Rob Adelberg, always a strong contender. Wes Agee, I mean, we talked about him the other day as being one of those guys that really gets comfortable on the bigger distance jumps, and there's a couple of them here. Remi Bizouard, the perfectionist, the professor from France, the guy absolutely rocks and rolls. And then, of course, David Rinaldo and Dany Torres. Dany Torres, a former World Tour champion, as well as Levi Sherwood. And Matt Rabeau is a former World Tour champion. So if you look at that lineup in the quarterfinal, it's going to be pretty wild because of the quality of riders that are out there. And as we look at our start list for round number 1, Taka Higashino, Libor Podmol, Daisuke Suzuki, and Kota Kugimura. 3 Japanese guys in the mix there. And Libor Podmol, the lone foreigner in this case, from the Czech Republic, going to be battling it out.
Well, like you said, there is actually 4 former World Tour champions riding here tonight. That is a stacked field. And never mind all the other accolades that the other 11 guys have got besides Red Bull X Fighters World Tour champion. These are the cream of the crop. They're the top of everybody. We are about ready to meet our judges, and then let's do it. Let's get into this competition. The crowd is waiting. We're waiting. We want to see what is going on with these guys.
Yeah, the sooner the better for me, quite frankly. And there we see our judging lineup.
As we roll through here quickly, we are going to...
Alvaro, hey?
Alvaro.
Always a class.
So in Red Bull X Fighters, the way that we do it here is a little bit different, but I believe it is the best judging system out of all the competitions. We have 5 different judges who judge on 5 different categories. So that means, you know what, you may be the guy that's got the biggest trick out here, but that doesn't mean you're going to win because you have to do the other 4 categories. We have variety, execution, style, use of course, and energy, excitement, and entertainment are our 5 categories. And that is all overseen by our head judge, Jason Moriarty. You go down to a head-to-head bracket, which we'll break down in a minute here. So we get to take a look. Dany Torres, hey, he's looking back. He looks happy and relaxed.
And And that's a good sign for him as well, because yesterday he rode a fantastic qualification run and is sitting in second place after the qualification. So he's feeling good and confident right now. Rob Adelberg also down there just chilling and chatting. You can see Remi Bizouard walking around in the background there. Remi's an interesting character. He's been on the X Fighters before. A couple of years ago, he was showing very improved status out there on course, and unfortunately had a crash and was out for the remainder of that season. But we're glad to have him back. He's one of those guys that is a perfectionist type of rider. He doesn't like to go into a competition and try and experiment with new lines. He has to have his lines locked down and ready to go before competition time. Otherwise, he gets nervous. So, and there's a few riders like that. Levi is one of those guys. Remi is definitely one of those guys. And if we look at the opposite side of the scale, coming up, for instance, in this round one, Libor Podmol is one of those guys that's willing to just throw it out there. If something doesn't work in his run, he scraps the whole run and just goes for it, you know?
And he's got the trick bag to do it, but You're exactly right. If he's not comfortable with something, he's not scared to give it a shot in the middle of competition anyway, because he's willing to take that risk for the possible reward. Same thing with a guy like Tom Pages. He will huck it. He doesn't have to be perfect. He lets the adrenaline get to him and lets that dictate his riding. Speaking of.
Yeah, there he is right there, Tom. Unfortunately, we won't be seeing him ride today. Just going back to the guys that are in our first round here in Osaka, one of those guys that kind of splits the middle of that all or nothing or practice routine is Taka, actually. Taka is a guy who's very experimental, but he likes to be experimental on his own terms and not in a competition situation. But at the same time, he's also willing to just throw it out there if he finds that things aren't quite working out the way that he maybe figures they should be.
Speaking of talking.
Our winner. Right now, you'd never know his foot was hurting him.
Yeah, that was a nice turntable right before. Remember, everything has to be right side up here, except for that one new rule, the Joker trick, as he really lays it out over the 90-foot dirt double.
Big executioner there.
You cannot tell that Taka yesterday was limping around on a pair of handlebars, barely could get around.
Nice, big lazy boy.
With the lazy boy. Wow, he just absolutely put that pain out of his head. Yesterday, he was very questionable whether he was going to be able to ride. But like he said, this is for me, this is for my country, this is for Igo. I am riding no matter, I don't care how my foot feels. He can't put any weight on it. And somehow, I think he's landing all on his opposite foot because he rode perfectly just now.
Yeah, Doc G probably wrapped that thing up tight as a drum so it won't flex too much. And you know what happened just now is Taka took a really bad situation and turned it into a really good one for himself. One, he's injured. Two, he's the first rider out in the first round. So he's the guy that sets the bar for the judges and the rest of these riders, and boy, did he ever set that bar high.
He set it extremely high. It's probably going to be one of the highest scoring round number one runs we ever see, because that's the first time you're actually allowed to do an inverted or rotational trick. Let's take a look back, because I can't wait to break down exactly what he did on that new trick. It's like a special flip. rumors are they might be calling it an Osaka roll or a California roll. Look at that. He grabs on, basically does a 360-degree rotation. Let's break this down.
Yeah, it's like a body flat spin or the body varial flat spin while he holds on to the seat. You know what I could see him taking that to is a rock solid down the road, which is something that he does very well in the flip variation.
Yeah, great. I mean, for a brand new trick and then to be able to debut it right here, right now, first time this weekend in front of the whole crowd. He has got to be pumped.
All right, well, we won't see any scores just yet. What they'll do is they'll let all 4 of these riders go, and then they'll announce the score. So until all 4 riders have ridden, we will not know whether or not Taka's run and score will be enough to put him into the quarterfinal. But I tell you what, for the rest of these guys, they've just watched a near perfect first round run with Taka riding. So they've got a lot of work to do. Libor Podmol up next here. They call him the Czech Ninja, and for good reason. The guy seems to be able to land on his feet in the weirdest of situations, although we have seen him take a few fairly hairy spills in the past, but he always seems to bounce right back up and come back and compete even harder than before.
Yeah, Libor is one of those guys that has always been at the front edge of trick innovation, one of the first guys to do a lot of the really difficult high-end level backflip tricks. I can't even say it, they're so difficult, Troy.
Well, and he's back to his old music. Yesterday he decided to ride to the song Happy, and I don't think it worked out for him as he goes for the surfer takeoff to Switchblade there. So he is he's also given it to this course, trying to get himself some good points as he goes into the sideshow there, something that he does so well.
Well, I'm curious to see what he's going to choose as his one joker trick.
I know.
He does so many big tricks, but it's a very cerebral game out here. You really have to plan out exactly what you're going to do. As he does the transfer.
Nice.
No foot of can over. Yeah, not the biggest trick. Very old school there, but there's only 2 guys that have tried that transfer out here. So use of course judge is really going to be loving that.
And there's his flip, and it's a flip cliffhanger. Over rotates it slightly. What a time to finish it off, though. What a great way to finish it with that cliffhanger flip there. And yeah, we're just saying there's only 2 guys to do that transfer from dirt to dirt there. That Libor is one of them, and the other guy is David Rinaldo. So I like the fact that they're both being a bit creative with the use of course.
Well, it's a technical little transfer. There's not a lot of lip on the takeoff. It's very off angle. You can't see where you're going.
You basically just have to pin it.
The only thing I don't like about it is that you actually lose 2 or 3 regular jumps in order to get into position and then back to the course from there. So that's not, I don't know, it's going to be really tough. We'll see it reflected in the scores and see what the judges think of it. But that's, if there's anything wrong with doing that, is I think you're just losing a lot of big tricks to go over there.
Yeah, but then again, if you're thinking about the big tricks these days, a lot of them are inverted or upside down or rotational tricks, and so, you know, maybe it's a calculated risk deciding that you're not going to lose that many of those big tricks that you want to try and carry to the next round. So I think it's going to be a close call between these first 2 guys, quite honestly. Libor did a good job out there, and I like the creativity of that surfer to switchblade. The surfer takeoff to switchblade, because you need to really have control of the bike when you do that one. And we're looking at some pretty nice angles here from our fly cam.
Yeah, great aerial coverage from the fly cam. Pretty awesome there. You didn't see him take off, but that was the dirt to dirt transfer. And here we go. Let's break down the backflip cliffhanger. Great extension everywhere, except I guess it's my job to harp on it, but I'd like to see those hips open up a little bit more, straighten up a little bit more at the waist.
Pop those hips, and then you're good to go.
Yeah. Just watch a few more rap videos, Troy. That's what he needs to do. But nonetheless,
the next thing you know, he's going to be twerking on the bike. Yeah.
Pretty good run by Libor. Pretty solid. No big mistakes. He was a little unextended, say, on the one hand, Indian air to rock solid. He didn't get great extension, but you know, those judges, they're going to see that.
All right, up next, Dice Suzuki.
Dice is known here.
Dice is our second of 3 Japanese riders in round 1. And so far, we've seen 2 very high-quality runs from Taka and from Libor. So it's now up to Dice and Kota Kugimura to really come up and see if they can step up their games here in round 1. And Dyson goes for it right away off the super kicker.
360 knack off of the super kicker, and that is actually much more leaned over than we saw yesterday. I was giving him a bit of grief yesterday for not quite more of an off-axis backflip, but that looked pretty solid as a 360, and then throws the knack in and then just rails the berm. Love to see that when guys show off old school moto skills. Wow. Right into a perfect kiss of death.
You know what I really like about this run so far from Dice is it's got good flow. There's not really been any wasted time turning around to try and find a new line. He's really keeping it going, and he's using all of the ramps so far.
I really love that trick he just did there. It's just so stylish. It's not probably the hardest, kind of a stand on the seat, 1 foot surfer, knack sort of. I'm not sure if he's got a name for it or not, but pretty awesome. He goes with a rock solid to no-handed lander.
And then he rails the berm on the other end and gives us the old Captain Morgan coming across the front line here. So a pretty nice run from Dyson. I don't know, I'm not sure if they're going to give him that last trick though, because he was around the corner and under power, but the horn went when he was still in the berm. So we'll have to find out from our head judge if we will actually see him getting points for that last trick that he did, the Captain Morgan.
Well, and just to keep it clear, the rule is you have to be under power out of the in a corner, but more than halfway through a corner, under power in order for your when the horn goes and the clock goes to 0 in order to get that last jump counted.
Let's not forget /Red Bull X Fighters. If you want to get the latest news and videos on Facebook, make sure you log in and check it out. All sorts of great stuff, including a great POV run that everybody's been just talking about that was so much fun to watch. I think it was Dyson that actually did the POV run for us with the Sony Action Cam hooked up all over his bike. So that's a great one. Check that out.
Yeah, it looked really cool. Really cool perspective. You can see what these guys are doing. And there we go. A little bit, not quite the extension he wanted on that rock solid, but kind of comes up and goes no-handed lander, and he salutes the crowd. Dice has been at this for a long time. He's been a national hero.
And look at how he grabs. He had the flip levers up, and on his way down, instead of grabbing the grip or the throttle side, he grabbed the flip lever, and he was like, oh, wait a minute, that's not the right one. He let go and lands one-handed standing up. So, I mean, that's a lot of skill right there. That's confidence. That
is a confident motorcycle rider right there, when you don't even need a hand on.
No. All right, next up, Kota Kugimura.
Kota came through from the all-Japanese wildcard qualifier yesterday. Had some great runs and actually took down some really high-level talent in order to move on here to round number 1. It's excited to see him ride. He's really stepped it up since last year when we saw him here.
Yeah. And he actually, I don't know if we'll see it from him, probably because of the allowed inverted trick, but we may see him pull out the Flare 540, which he practiced with the guys for the first time to dirt the other day. He ate it about, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 times before he finally fulfilled the rotation, got around and landed it clean. And all of a sudden, there's yet another rider who is able to come out and add some of those new school tricks to the routines.
All right, they're holding him back down there. I know he's antsy to get out here. The crowd is on their feet.
Yeah, they are wanting him to ride, and that's a beautiful view right there. The Osaka Castle in the background. A lot of history here. A lot of history. Our local on-site announcers here, they're asking the crowd for more noise for Kota before he comes out there. Taka wants it as well. He's pumping his fist for Kota.
Oh yeah, they are getting into it down there. How did you translate that? You've been practicing a little Rosetta Stone Japanese overnight?
Got it going on down here.
I think we've just been told we're actually waiting on the judges. I think they must be having a little bit of a talk up there before they get ready for Kota's run. And here we go. 20 seconds on the clock. That gives the guys time to blow out their bikes, loosen up a little bit, and then the clock starts.
And why
right
does
there.
Kota even bother? No, he just goes for it right away. It's a bit of a mace twist looking trick that he just did there into the 9 o'clock rotation. Oh, and we loved watching that one yesterday, that holy grab to rock solid combo. And look at how well he extends that cliffhanger. Just fantastic.
Yeah, Kota's got some really nice tricks, really great extensions. And this is reminiscent of his run yesterday. Backflip Cordova into the double-double section, and then a rock solid. Unfortunately, not going to be quite the extension on the rock solid that he was looking for, but still had good body positioning. Just didn't get his hands quite far enough off.
I'm a little bit surprised that he went for the Cordova backflip as his one and only inverted trick, seeing as he can do that Flare 540. So, you know, maybe there was a tactical thought process in there or something.
Massive turn down there, getting turned around, probably a good 120 degrees there.
Minimum.
Really looking good. That'll do it. 60 seconds off the clock for Kota. Solid run for him. I'd also agree with you that he had that flare dialed really well yesterday. So surprising that he did choose a trick that a couple other guys are able to do in this round number 1.
Yeah, we'll look back at the replay there and everything, but I kind of think that he didn't push it as well as he maybe should have, given the fact that it is the one and only flip trick that he is allowed to have in the run.
But really, like you said, got really extended up Mike Mason style on that first jump, whipping it out. And then there's that holy grab, just massive extension, floats off, so close to not getting back on the bike. And there we go, there's that rock solid. I think he felt like he must have been floating away a little bit because he grabbed back on a little too quickly. Judges are going to want to have seen him really extend those arms out perpendicular to his body and hold as long as possible. But here's that massive whip. Gets around almost fully backwards. And finishes off with a textbook double grab. Really nice landing, both tires touching down at the same time. Judges really like to see that, especially the style and execution, Judge.
All right, Daisuke Suzuki gets a 79.80, Kota Kugimura an 80.2. So that's leaving it between Libor Podmol and Taka Higashino. And it's going to be, let's see, is it Libor or Taka?
I vote Taka.
Oh my goodness, there it is. Taka Higashino, 82.5. Our winner here from last year has managed to squeak through just by the hair of his chinny chin, beating Libor out by only a point here in the round of the first round. So Taka will move on to the quarterfinal. And man, I tell you, it was real close. It was real close between those two guys. So that means Taka will go up against Levi Sherwood. Hometown advantage is going to have to play a big role here for Taka Higashino.
Well, and that's an interesting matchup because Taka now is warm and loose. Levi hasn't ridden in about 5 hours, so not that that probably matters for him, but Taka's ready. There's Levi. He's grinning a lot more these days than he did over the last couple of years, so it's nice to see that back.
1 year ago, the Osaka castle was stormed by warriors of a different kind. For the second time in its history, the Red Bull X-Fighters returns to Asia with the best freestyle motocross riders in the world. They will take over these hallowed grounds and compete for a spot on the podium and points in this elite series. Hi everyone, Troy Mannering coming to you live from the Red Bull X-Fighters Osaka, Japan for stop number 2 of our series, and it's my pleasure to bring you all the action from the land of the rising sun, along with expert analysis from my friend Andy Bell.
Thanks, Troy. What an amazing venue here in Osaka, and the top riders in the world are ready to do battle. I know these guys have more than a few surprises in store for us here today. Our last stop in Mexico was a little bit of a rough start for the current World Tour champion, and here it looks like it's gonna be a bit more of the same. The riders are warming up and are ready to take on this massive course in front of us. Coming up, stop number 2 from Osaka Castle.
Well, this year we have 5 stops. We started in Mexico, and our current stop here in Osaka, Japan will be a hard-fought battle. Then we move on to Madrid, Spain on the 27th of June, and then on to our Munich, Germany stop on the 19th of July. Then finally, we will close out our World Tour in Pretoria, South Africa on the 23rd of August and crown a World Tour champion. And look at that arena, Andy. Amazing.
Wow, there we get to come to some pretty amazing places, Troy, and this, just check this one off. That is a moat. That is a moat.
That's a moat. I mean, the overhead shot with the helicopter is just amazing. The crowd here, as we go with a flyby with our fly cam, its capacity, it is completely sold out. Over the weekend, we've had 20,000+ visitors checking out the action, and it is about to get live here when we put our riders out there for quarterfinal action.
Everybody
and here
wave.
we go.
Everybody wave up there. We've got our booth out there. You see the judges. The thing I love about Red Bull X-Fighters is we have a very unique judging system here.
Great judging system.
We have 5 different categories judged by 5 different ex-professional riders who know their stuff. We have variety, execution, style, which is form and flow, use of course, and energy, excitement, and entertainment. So these guys are getting judged how well they interact with the fans, what kind of show they're putting on, as well as how they're riding. And then we have the head judge, Jason Moriarty, there, and he's there to oversee everything and make sure everything is, as you would say, Troy, tickety-boo.
Tickety-boo, ties it all together. If we have a tie or something, then he's the man to make the final decision on that one. Well, there's a lot going on out there on these courses, and we always ask ourselves, what will it take? What will it take to double it up here? Levi.
Well, he 1.5 times it already. He took home qualifying last night. He is ready to double it up. He won Mexico City. I say he's riding better than he was 2 months ago in Mexico City, so I think he could double it up here, no problem.
But you got to have a perfect line here, Andy.
Yeah, absolutely. This dirt is actually very technical out here. It's very hard, and there's a lot of little marbly rocks on top, so it's slippery. We actually saw more crashes in qualifying than we usually see in an entire event.
And then, of course, there's the battle of styles
yeah.
that's going on here between these guys.
Well, and the styles, the 2 styles are, like you said earlier on, it is the go for broke style and huck it because your adrenaline's pumping, or it's the guys that are only going to do the tricks they're 100% comfortable with. And is
okay.
Levi, hey, Levi, you're up, buddy.
Levi's having a nap.
You know what, that is the calm face of an ex-champion.
Yeah.
He knows what's coming. He knows what's coming. We're going to hear from Levi down there in the rider pit and see what he thinks coming into this event.
Levi Sherwood, what a comeback. I mean, he came into Mexico cool, calm, and collected, and basically dominated the competition, and it looked like he was just having fun.
After Mexico, it was pretty cool. Just felt pretty satisfied. Obviously, really happy with how it went, and it was just a big surprise for me. So it was good. It was a good kind of boost.
At 17, he won his first Red Bull X-Fighters event, and then he got the championship in 2012 at just 21 years old. I mean, what can't the kid do? Levi came into 2013 and basically cracked under the pressure. Not one single event win all year. Levi pretty much dominated qualification here in Osaka, and it looks like going into today's contest, he's the man to beat.
Speaking of men to beat, last year he was the man to beat. Unfortunately, today after training and the qualifying round, Thomas Pages has decided not to participate in the Red Bull X Fighters competition here in Osaka. He didn't feel comfortable on the course, and with the high level of difficulty of his unique tricks, he believed that the risk of injury for him was just too high. Pages said he's really sad about not being able to perform for the local crowd and his fans around the world, but his safety is always his highest priority, as it is for all of us at the Red Bull X Fighters, for these guys.
Definitely a very controversial decision. This is probably the most drama-filled last 2 days that we've ever had at a Red Bull X Fighters. But Levi is one guy that's not going to be sad about seeing Tom not compete because, yeah, he beat him in Mexico. That's fine, but now it's just one less guy that he has to worry about who, you know, when Tom rides like Tom can ride, he is a force as our defending champion. Yeah, and in all fairness, in Mexico, Tom didn't really have a lot of training time come up to that. So, you know what? Let's talk about it the way it is. It's down to the quarterfinals now. Levi Sherwood is the man everybody is focusing on here, but we've got, you know, 7 other guys that are going to be competing here as well. And our first quarterfinal heat in the bracket is going to be between Rob Adelberg and Matt Rabot. And there you see the quarterfinals coming up. It's head-to-head battles now, so the winner of each head-to-head battle will go on to the semifinal, and then same format there. The winners go on to the final. So let's get it on. Rob Adelberg going up against Matt Rabot, an Australian, up against a man from Switzerland who is a former World Tour champion as well. Matt used to be such a dominant force. I mean, he picked the tricks up faster than anyone. He got the extension down. He really just had such a flow about him until 2011. Horrible femur break. It has really taken him almost 3 years to walk correctly, and he still doesn't really walk correctly, I wouldn't say, but he's really had a tough comeback and had a lot of nerve damage, and it's been sad to see him trying to come back, but you know what? I feel that yesterday watching him ride, that he's really on that road to the top of the class again. Yeah. And we even noticed yesterday that after he had a bit of a crash there, he had been walking a lot better than we had seen him walk actually earlier on in the day. So sometimes a crash for a rider can be a good thing because they know they can fall and they're not going to get really badly injured, and that makes him just come out and want to go for it more. So our 2 riders are coming out onto course here, Rob Adelberg and Matt Rabot in heat number 1 here in this head-to-head action in the quarterfinals. 75 seconds is the time that each of these guys will have on course. And these guys will also have a chance to blow out their bikes really quickly to make sure that everything is working right. Nothing worse than, you know, trying to turn that throttle and having the bike bogged down when you're right on the middle of the ramp. You've had that experience before, Andy. Hence the reason I'm sitting up here in this booth. Well, lots of other reasons too, other than maybe I wasn't good enough to be out here, but we'll just blame it on the bike and a couple crashes. Really excited to see these guys ride. Rabot is one of the guys that really has picked up the flair, and he threw down a flare combo yesterday, so can't wait to see if he can pull that together today.
Hi, I'm Rob Adelberg from Australia. I tell myself to relax, and I know what I'm doing, I've done it before, but I like that pressure to get me out there and give me that little bit extra adrenaline to get me going.
Robbie, he's looking really clean cut there.
He's looking really clean cut. We're used to seeing him with a bit of the mullet going on as well a few years back.
Yeah, but like he said, Rob is one of those dudes that has the bag of tricks, but sometimes he gets too pumped up. He gets a little too excited.
Whoa,
but
yes.
Whoa, starts off so strong, backflip cliffhanger, and like I said earlier, he really did pop those hips. He straightened out. Judge is going to love that one.
Nice little rock solid there as he flies over through the middle of the course, and then the cliffhanger to no-hander lander. Yes, the guys were really struggling with that one yesterday, trying to get the base jumper dropping in off of these huge jumps, and wow, they weren't feeling good about it yesterday. Today, Robbie has just set the bar high for that one.
Backflip Indian air to heel clicker, and then bar hop to no-handed lander over there. I think we couldn't quite see the
Shaolin
land.
into no-hander lander was beautiful.
Nice. Rob is looking great right now. Back
Cordova flip.
Cordova.
Tsunami kiss of death. He's really taking it good.
The judges really like to see these guys doing the very difficult tricks on the first jump into the double-double section here, because that makes it even harder to set up. It shows commitment and shows confidence that you're going to do it as he throws down into the side saddle lander, something that the variety judge really going to like to see.
Yeah, 7 seconds left in the run here. The flags are flying as he gets flipped upside down for a kiss of death tsunami flip, and then throws in the heart attack one hand. That was beautifully extended as well.
Really solid run out of Rob there. Used those 75 seconds really well. Great extension. I didn't really notice anything that was underextended or rushed. He looked very confident. Really stuck out, especially the backflip kiss of death over there. I mean, he boned that thing out perfectly, held it perfectly straight. He may have even pointed his toes over that. We're gonna have to check it out here in the replay.
Yeah, definitely gonna have to dig it apart on the replay.
There, I don't feel like there was a lot to pick apart there. I think Adelberg really kind of threw down, and Rabeau's gonna have to ride like the former champion that he is.
Yeah.
And look at this, he really straightens out of the hips there. Really nice, great way to start out. The judges love to see you start out on a difficult trick, and cliffhanger flip is one of the most difficult out there. Jump in on Twitter, hashtag XFighters. We love to hear what's going on. We love to follow along. If Troy and I had internet up here, we'd be on it ourselves, but we're in the hot box just watching.
Hot box, and that backflip heel clicker, by the way, absolutely got him together. Yesterday, we were watching him do those backflip heel clickers, and they were more like the horseshoe. Today, he really stretched it through. This is something that I've noticed about Rob Adelberg for the last few years. You know, a few years ago, he was a little bit squirrely out there, if you remember. You know, he got a little bit panicked, and that adrenaline was really flowing for him, and he tended to rush through his tricks a little bit too much. And it seems like the confidence that he's gotten now with the age and the experience has really helped him work to, you know, manage that adrenaline flow very well. And that's, you're seeing the quality of the rider he's become with that trick right there. Beautiful extension, absolutely fantastic.
Could not be extended more or hold that longer there.
Yeah.
Really looking good. That's one of the better runs that we've actually seen out of Adelberg in the last couple of years. And I mean, he won a round last year in Glen Helen.
That's right.
It was by a bit of a default, not saying that he wouldn't have won the competition,
but he won the qualifying round.
He
so
won
that
the
counts.
qualifying round, and due to wind, he got canceled.
Hello, Taka on screen there. Taka getting ready to come out. He was the guy that came through that round one. We're excited to see how he manages to pull a run together with an injured ankle going up against a very strong Levi Sherwood. And here we go with Matt Rabeau.
Hey, what's up? I'm Matt Rabeau from Switzerland. Being the oldest rider on the tour means, actually I'm pretty proud of that, you know. I think when I started I was the youngest, and now I'm the oldest and still here.
The oldest guy on tour, not sitting up here. That's funny to hear.
You know, that's not a bad thing. I mean, young is good in one way, but old, he's got the experience. He won't let the butterflies get to him as much. He knows how to be a competitor. He knows how to use everything to his advantage. And he starts off big with a can-can and one-hand backflip, and then stretches out the kiss of death.
It's looking smooth so far. That landing on both of those jumps was perfect.
You're going to see these guys reaching down and flipping something up on their handlebars. Those are his flip levers. And he gets into a whip Indian air, no-hander, really nice there, and then comes around, uses the super kicker, just goes for the use of course, and then big whip flip for Rabeau.
Watch this right here now.
And so he flips up his left flip lever. This is where we saw him crash yesterday. Yeah. It's going to be the first flare that we see today.
Yes, and he pulls it off.
Yes.
He pulls it off with the knack
Matt.
even. Nice to see that.
Flare for Matt. Comes back around. Still got 24 seconds left on the clock. And you see how marbly the surface is. It's really hard to get a run going. And really sticks out the backflip, kiss of death, Indian air. And Rabeau is riding really solid right now.
This is the best run we've seen from him in a few days.
Maybe in a few years.
Oh, yeah.
Pendulum backflip, Double Indian air to finish off. And I think he's going to throw one out for the crowd here. This will not count, but hey, goes back to his moto ways, throws out the whip. And he is stoked. He is
absolutely stoked. And so he should be. He crashed really hard on that flare knack yesterday, and he was actually out on that ramp waiting for, you know, his dad came running over, his manager came running over, the medical crew was out there, and thankfully he got back up under his own power and walked off the course. And I think more than anything, he was just angry that he crashed. Well, I don't think he was hurt as much as he was angry.
Well, he hurt his man parts a little bit, Troy. I talked to him earlier, and he said, yeah, it was pretty bad. As we check out that extension, that is perfect ruler extension, straight up and down. And look at some of the technicalities here on the tricks as he goes up into that switchblade and then takes a one hand off while he's in the middle of a whip. Love to see that, really kind of just upping everything. And now here's that flare. Knack with the left leg. Maybe not the biggest knack, but hey, he's doing a 540. Yeah. He just learned this. He proves that he belongs here. He is innovating and really pushing the level of his tricks.
And he's just saying to all the young kids, yeah, come and get some.
And there's a bunch of guys out here that still aren't doing the flare, so for the oldest dude on tour to be doing that just proves you can teach an old dog new tricks.
Throwing in a little candy bar there in that pendulum on the flip, and then right here, beautiful.
Well, I'm really curious to see how the judges are going to score, because they had similar runs with similar tricks, but with Matt throwing in the quarter pipe, the flare, and not just a flare variation, which really there's only one other guy doing, which is Tom Pages with his variations. Yeah. That may really be the straw that breaks the judge's back and makes them lean his direction.
Yeah.
But
well, we'll see. Here's the way our scoring works, folks. You'll see a graphic come up on the lower part of your screen, and helmets, little graphic helmets, will be distributed. The first person to get 3 or more helmets is the guy who wins. So let's see if it's going to be that man right there, Rob Adelberg, or if it will be his competitor in this first head-to-head heat, Matt Rabeau.
This is going to be tight for sure.
All right, here we go. Variety judge. That one goes to Rob Adelberg. So advantage Australia. Execution of the tricks. This is a big one for you too, I think. Rob Adelberg gets 2 helmets, so advantage definitely sitting in Rob Adelberg's side right now. Use of course, well for sure that's going to be Matt Rabeau because of the quarter pipe. Yeah. Energy, excitement, and entertainment. That one belongs to Matt Rabeau. Tie game so far.
Tie game.
So it's coming down to 1 helmet here. Who is going to take the style?
That one, this is a tough one because they both have very distinct styles.
Oh, Rob Adelberg, 83 points on the style side, and they're going to give it to Robbie there.
I think they both look a little confused down there. I'm not sure they know that Rob won. Rob's moving on. I don't think they can see.
We've just been informed that the guys down there can't see the video wall, and they've just had to reset the thing. So Adelberg, for you folks out there, we're just letting you know that the helmets went over to Adelberg. He got 3 helmets to 2, but boy, that was a very, very close heat. And actually, I'm a little bit surprised that they managed to pull Adelberg's helmets over and not Rabeau, because the flare was a really big trick for him.
You know what, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to talk about this, Troy, but I'm going to talk about it because I can see this on our screen. Is it looks like the head judge, Jason Moriarty, has been involved in at least 3 decisions so far today.
Yeah. Well, let's go up to Jason and find out what their decision reasons were.
Hey, Jason, we're checking in with you, Jason. We see that you actually have had to get involved a couple times here and change a couple scores. Can you tell us what you're seeing up there, what you saw there with the difference from Adelberg and Rabeau?
Yeah, it was really close. Obviously, the standout thing in match run was the flare. But overall, the quality of the executions and the cleanness of the run definitely goes to Robbie, which would have put him ahead in execution and in form and flow. So it was really, really close run. Matt definitely took the energy and the variety, but what tipped it in Rob's favor was the form and flow and the execution.
All right, well, there you have it.
Officially
from the man himself.
yeah. Thanks a lot, Jason Moriarty, our head judge, as we take one more look back here at that beautiful 540 from Matt Verbeau.
And you know what happened to him yesterday is he got that left leg over, which was his injured leg, if I'm correct, and couldn't get it back over the bike yesterday. Kind of got it stuck on the seat.
But he really pushed it yesterday. I mean, that one he did yesterday was
did a huge
massive.
One. He did a huge one. And well, Rob Adelberg will be moving on to the semifinals, and he's got to be stoked. They were a bit confused up there because they didn't know what we could see. So, and here we go, the bracket number 2.
Hi, I'm Wes Agee from USA. Feels great to fly through the air. You know, we're all adrenaline junkies and trying to just get as high as we can.
We'll leave that one at that, Wes, but he is right. We are all adrenaline junkies out here, and no one is better at flying through the air and going big out here than Wes. He is well known for his free riding exploits. He loves hitting the massive jumps out in the desert, out in the dunes, and he's not as known as a contest rider. We've had him on tour a few times. Such a great, nice guy, and we're gonna see as he throws down here, massive kiss of death backflip. You can just tell this guy loves going big.
Well, like you said, we were talking about this yesterday, the free riders guy, you know, they tend to come in here and they don't do as well because they're not used to the smaller setups. But, you know, we can't really call this a small setup in comparison to others. But you know what? He manages the system pretty well here. I got to be honest with you, Wes has been riding fantastic the last few days as he goes for a beautiful lazy boy flip over the double-double here into an underflip over the long-distance dirt double. Looking great.
Yeah, I love that. That was a really, really perfectly executed lazy boy backflip into the big whip flip on the 90-foot jump there, and really just lazy pull around there with the suicide flip. This is the best I've actually seen Wes ride in a contest setting. He looks like he's old hat at this stuff. He's looking very solid, you know, considering he hasn't gotten the contest experience that some of these other guys do. He's looking really good out there. And it doesn't matter what country we go to around the world, where we are, when a guy like Wes throws down a massive whip like that, the crowd responds. So cool to see him throwing down like that as he explodes the berm on his big KTM 450. Well, I mean, if you think about it, that old race whip, that was the first freestyle motocross trick back in the day, you know, so we could say it's a little bit of nostalgia every time one of the guys gets out there and does that. Let's see if he's going to do a dust-up. He is. Yeah. And if you're lucky enough to get sprayed, it's like being splashed by an orca whale. I know that's like, I know what that's like. I've been to the pool with you, Troy. Hey, buddy. Easy does it there. Do you think he's pumped? I mean, do you think he's pumped? I think he's pumped. I think that's personally the best run I've seen Wes do in a contest setting ever. He looked good. Started off throwing down, really exploded into that quarter pipe. The only guy hitting that quarter pipe on the left side. Well, and he traveled, you know, like we were talking about it the other day when we were watching all these guys do some of the tricks off the quarter pipe and just try and test them and feel them out. You know, in skateboarding, we'd say he traveled 6-7 panels on that one. He really went from, you know, left to right in a big way on that one transfer off the quarter pipe. So good job by Wes Agee. And look at that extension on the lazy boy backflip, really laying it out. And then really nice whip flip over the dirt. Just so confident, not rushing his tricks. The judges love that, especially the form and flow judge. Just looking great, and the style. I mean, that's just style for days right there. Just taking a look back. Really impressive ride. Look at that. Look at that. I mean, way that's almost 180 degrees. That's 140 degrees. Yeah. I don't know how These guys are getting the bikes around the way they do these days. I was happy to get my butt off the side of the seat. I call that a whip. So pretty impressive. Wes is pumped.
Yeah, he should be happy about that one as he takes another spinner coming down off of the landing ramp, and we're going to send it back down to Dave Butts, who is going to give the go-ahead to Remi Bizouard in a second. So the next head-to-head man here going up against Wes Agee is Remi Bizouard from France. Remi, not known as the big crazy innovator out on course, but he does, when he takes time to learn his tricks and get him down, he is such an excellent rider.
Hi, I'm Remi Bizouard from France. I like to drive fast car, I like to drive fast. It's a lot of fun to, you know, drift around or just go fast, having some sensation, and yeah, it's like a second hobby, I would say, and I really enjoy it.
Well, he's not going to have a fast car, but he's got a fast motorcycle down there right now, and he has 14 seconds left on the clock. It is time for him to get out on course. Wes had a great run, so in this head-to-head battle, he's going to have to bring it. And
nice,
he starts
heart
off
attack
big
one-hander.
with that heart attack backflip. And then straight in to the cliffhanger backflip. A little bit over-rotated there, a little bit, but then
he had amplitude on that.
He had amplitude, switches over, hits a super kicker, does a nice ruler, and that, hitting the super kicker is going to get him a little bit of use, of course, as he pushes through a big backflip.
Yeah,
I couldn't tell that was a Shaolin.
I'm going to go with the Shaolin.
Your big head was in the way. I couldn't quite see if it was a bar hop or Shaolin, but either way, good extension. Whip, flip.
Whip. A little bit of a sideshow right there, sidewinder. Still got time on the clock, and he's really gotten busy on this course. He's hit almost everything.
What's he got here? We didn't see him hit this yesterday, did we? Oh.
Tsunami flip, fantastic.
I thought, oh, wow, he
got a little squirrely on the landing.
I thought he was lining up for the quarter pipe for a second there. It kind of looked like he was. Flatliner gets it all out, and this jump should count. One-hand heart attack to finish off. Seems like he got a lot of jumps out. I like his line selection.
Well, it's like you said, you know, he likes to go fast, he likes to race. And we've seen this from Remi before. He gets out on course, and where other riders will get 7, 8 jumps, he'll get in there and get 9, 10 sometimes, because he goes between each of the jump lines as fast as he possibly can. So he lines himself up real quick. Audience here definitely liking the action, and the weather is really nice here. It's absolutely beautiful. It's hot. It's really hot.
It is hot. We're sweating here in the booth, but taking a look out, it gets pretty windy here in the afternoon.
It's starting.
We're seeing the treetops. Look at that behind Wes there. The treetops are really blowing.
Yeah, it's starting to pick up.
It's really picking up right now. Look at the flags down there.
I got an SMS from my wife and son who are watching back home, and they're like, is it windy there? And I'm like, no, not at all. And now, of course, it's just picking up like crazy. We can see the flags down there, like you mentioned, starting to blow.
Yeah, that just came out of nowhere, actually. Yeah, those guys are, even Remi's saying it's hot out there. It's a little bit muggy. Beautiful day, though.
Yeah. This is the most emotion I've seen out of Remi in a long time, by the way. He's up there enjoying himself. Maybe there's a little bit of the Wes Agee influence on top. Taking a look back at that beautiful cliffhanger flip from Remi, and again, Remi does the same thing here. He pops those hips just slightly and gets the extension. But look at the flexibility. There's only one other guy out there that I know that's that flexible, and that's Levi Sherwood, who's yet to ride. And I mean, Remi and Levi, the two of them just have incredible flexibility on the bike for those tricks.
Yeah, it's always good when the guys can use that flexibility to their advantage, a la Adam Jones and his rigor mortis. It's so great to see them really, really hang it out. And look at that extension Remi brings to the ruler backflip. And once again, we've got a really, really tight battle. There hasn't been a blowout yet. Sometimes there's a full blowout, but this guy's been very, very close. I think it's been very difficult.
Well, let's see what we get from these guys as we go to our judges. First one coming up, variety. The helmet goes to Remi Bizouard.
Yeah,
execution, 82 to 81, real close there. Also going to Remi Bizouard.
Use, of course, Wes. Yeah, use the quarter pipe. That's a pretty obvious one.
We'll definitely give that one to Wes. I mean, he played with the crowd, and he had those burnouts. I mean, for sure. That's going to belong to him. So style this time. Hey, oh, Remi Bizouard, 82 to 81 there. Close battle between these two guys. And the first two head-to-head heats have been a one helmet difference between the guys. So Remi Bizouard will move on to the semifinal. Looking at our info screen here, a lot of decisions that have ended up in the head judge's hands there. So obviously there's very, 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 very tight judging going on up there, which is good. I mean, it's a good thing. As we watch some of the best riders in the world, you got to be fair, you know?
Well, that's why I love being here in the booth with you, Troy, instead of being up there on that judge's stand. I spent 8 years head judging this tour, and let me tell you, it is not fun. You have one guy that ends up your friend in 11 that are mad at you at the end of the night because everybody is so tight now. Everybody is so good. Everybody trains so hard and practices so hard that they put everything on the line. It's so difficult, and it's just variances in style that really is kind of the win and lose here, and it's very objective.
All right, our next heat coming up is going to be David Rinaldo going up against Dany Torres. So Spain versus France. David Rinaldo, European champion, and Dany Torres and David also competing against each other at other events, and these two guys know each other very well. David's ridden a few X-Fighters events, but he's never actually pulled through an entire X-Fighters tour, so he's kind of the new guy out there. Dany Torres, on the other hand, is the old, we'll call him the granddaddy caddy of X-Fighters. He's had more head-to-head battles than anybody else that's riding today. And David Rinaldo is going to be the first guy to ride in this pairing.
Hi, I'm David Rinaldo from France. The moment just before my run, I just focus on my run, repeat all my tricks in my head, and go.
By hook or by crook, David Rinaldo will come out and he will put on a contest run that will have people shaking their heads sometimes. He doesn't have the flair, he doesn't have the volt, but you know what? A lot of these guys don't have those new tricks, but what he does have is a ton of style and the willingness to really just throw it down.
Well, one-handed takeoff backflip off the super kicker to start off. You know what I couldn't believe just talking to him a little while ago? His hand, I'm not sure if you've seen it, his hand is an absolute disaster.
Yeah, it's destroyed.
He's only been riding for 3 weeks, he said, from this massive injury. He has a scar from the tip of his middle finger all the way to the base of his wrist. It looks like there's a softball under his skin as he really stretches out a massive Cordova backflip right into a tsunami. And I can't believe he's hanging onto this motorcycle with how messed up his hand is.
It's absolutely amazing. It's because he literally crushed his hand in a crash a few months ago, and it has taken a long time to be able to get him just to move his fingers and stuff. So I mean, you're right, it's an absolute disaster, and just being able to hold on to that bike is a big deal. But you also notice he does a lot of one-hand takeoffs.
Yeah, I would too. Stretches out the double grab Indy, takes a look over the judges.
Under power, so this one will count as he goes for the big Superman. Unfortunately for David, I kind of think that a few of the tricks that we're used to seeing from him, a few of his bigger tricks were missing. We didn't see the double grab flip, which he does have in his quiver, and we also didn't see him you know, going for the underflip, which he can do. So
I think it's his hand. I mean,
Yeah.
his hand is absolutely the only one I've ever seen with an injury that looked like that was my old buddy Regan Sieg, and his foot looks like that from crushing his foot.
Oh.
And his hand, honestly, it looks like he's got a half an orange at least stuffed under the skin on top of his hand. So the fact that he's out there at all is absolutely mind-blowing.
All right, let's take a look back at this run and pick it apart a little bit, Andy.
All right, well, starts out, seat grab backflip, nice form.
Beautiful landing.
Yeah, good landing. There's the rock solid. That's good extension. That's textbook. I mean, it's not overly extended, but it was extended perfectly. Same thing with the Cordova backflip. Good solid landing. It's looking good.
And we should also point out that judges aren't just looking for the tricks that the guys are doing and how difficult or how styled out they are. They're also looking for a good, solid two-wheeled landing. That plays a key role in the judging process. A little bit disappointing, this final jump from him, though. I was...
Stretches out the old school Superman that looked like Jeremy McGrath in 1998.
It was real nice. It was perfectly extended, but as far as difficulty is concerned, and as the last jump in the run, it's not really what I had hoped to see from him, quite honestly. All right, well, David Rinaldo from France is in a bit of a tough situation here because he's got to go up against Dany Torres from Spain. And like I said, Danny's got more experience as far as head-to-head battles on the Red Bull X Fighters than any other rider here in the contest. He's also former World Tour champion, so he knows what it takes, and second place in the qualifying yesterday.
Dany Torres, Spain. The bling bling is very important for me because it's different face with this.
The bling bling.
Well, you know what? Maybe different face, but same rider. This guy can shred on a motorcycle. There's no tricks that he can't do.
Oh my goodness, that was massive.
Massive 360 to start things off.
Yeah, and he traveled and had a bunch of amplitude there. I mean, that was huge.
That was a great start for Dany. He does not want to lose. Starts off on the far side there, heel clicker to Superman. Doesn't get the heel clicker, more of a horseshoe, but you know, it's a very difficult combo to go from the front of the bike to the back of the bike.
And it's like you said, you know, he went into that trick right away on the double-double and followed it up with a great cliffhanger, and he continues this run with some nice big tricks.
Now that was a Paris Hilton backflip there. And then comes back around. He's still got good time left on the clock. And there's the lazy boy flip, maybe a little bit rushed, a little bit more rushed than usual, and then straight into the kiss of death. Still 30 seconds left.
And you'll see on your screen there, we've got live energy judging, so you'll see exactly what's happening as our live energy judge keeps a close eye on how these guys are riding.
Wow, not sure what Dany's got going on here for his line. I guess he's gonna hit the super kicker. Get in the Cordova flip.
I think probably what Dany wanted to do is have that quarter pipe because he's using the quarter pipe as a big launch transfer, but I think his line didn't work for him, and so he decided, okay, well, I can do, you know, a Cordova backflip on the super kicker, which was probably a saving grace for him.
Well, I'm guessing that he wanted to get back down to the super kicker, but the fact that he turned on the back of the landing and didn't use the quarter pipe, which was right there, that's a big mistake. I don't think it's going to matter in the end because he was absolutely the class of that matchup. But still, that was a big mental lapse, I guess you'd have to say, by not using it right there. Not that he kills it on the quarter pipe by any means, but he's okay on the quarter pipe.
But as far as use of force is concerned,
I mean, he was right there. He needed to hit it, and when he moves on to the semifinals, if he does, he really is going to have to make sure to get that.
Now looking back at the run here, though, there's the Paris Hilton flip, and I mean, he just gets that so well extended.
Yeah, really nice extension. I mean, Dany he's a former champion for that reason. He is an amazing contest rider. Almost unflappable. He is always on. He knows how to work everything, and that small mistake he made over there was actually very surprising.
Yeah, I mean, he cut his teeth in the bull rings of Spain and Mexico riding these contests. So the fact of the matter is that when you put him on a bigger course like this, he has tons of time to decide what he wants to do, and he can relax through the run, which it looks like he really did. I don't think there's any question about who's going to be advancing on here, but again, it's down to a judging decision, so let's see what the final decision is from our 5-man judging crew and our head judge, Jason Moriarty. Energy obviously goes to Dany Torres right away. Execution. That helmet belongs to Torres as well, so a big advantage right now after 2 helmets. They both belong to Dany. Style, very close between the two of them, 81 to 80. Dany Torres has got it because he's got the 3 helmets. He's going on to the semifinal, and it looks like we might have a sweep here for the first time in the contest today. Yes, we do. 5 helmets to nothing for Dany Torres. So Dany moves on to semifinal, heat number 1.
Well, hopefully Dany can fix that little mistake in his run. Hopefully I'm hoping that was a mistake and not intentional, because if that was intentional, someone needs to have the chat with him and say, hey,
it was a very strange choice.
Hey, you're right there. You really need to take advantage of this quarter pipe.
Maybe he felt like his run was good enough and decided to do a tactical maneuver there, and instead of going for the quarter pipe, coming back around and using that super kicker, because, you know, in the semifinal, these guys will have 90-second runs instead of 75. So maybe he's got that lined up with the quarter pipe use for the semifinal and just adds one more trick into his
I don't know. I really think, I mean, it wouldn't have taken any more time. Dany could absolutely use the practice on the quarter pipe.
Yeah.
There's been rumors of him having a flare. I know that he's done it into his foam pit a ton of times, but he's just still not comfortable taking it to dirt.
Yeah.
Like we were speaking earlier on styles, Dany is a guy that if he's not ready, he's going to just keep practicing it.
Next matchup, Taka versus Levi.
Hi, I'm Taka Higashino. I'm from Japan. At the moment, hit ramp is totally 100% focused, and I can hear nothing. And I just thinking one thing. So this pretty crazy. Everything slow motion.
Gotta love Taka. It's so great that his English has come so far. Much better than our Japanese. So it's great. He's just such a happy dude. He is a next level rider, and we're gonna see some stuff right now. No-handed backflip. That looked like it might have been a bit of a mistake, though. It was very late.
Scary landing.
Yeah, very late. He went very big. But remember, he's riding with a massive injury right now, so none of us can believe that he's actually out there right now.
Taka's having fun, though, no matter what, and he's going up against a pretty strong competitor in Levi Sherwood, so he's got to bring it in this 75-second run, and he goes for the mini flip, the baby flip.
I love that. Love that he picked that up. And here we go, holding on, and
with the fist pump. He had the fist pump in there.
So that's Taka's brand new trick. It's his own version of the special flip, which he said he hasn't named yet, but there was talk of calling it the Osaka roll, the California roll, or seat grab roll, and that is pretty next level for
absolutely.
Taka. And just really stretches out the KOD backflip onto the dirt double.
Wow, fantastic.
Really nice, but I have to point out that was a repeated trick there, another no-handed backflip. Even though it was off the dirt double, the variety judge will actually knock him a couple points for that. Goes into a little bit of a running man Flintstone there, and Taka, he won here last year in the inaugural Osaka Red Bull X Fighters, so he is the national hero.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Taka's got a big fan base here, and he's the man that is leading the charge among the Japanese riders at the moment. You know, he's got best trick contest wins and big contests. He's got the win here last year, and last year when he competed, he went up against Thomas. So, you know, he can do it, and it's definitely there for him. Now it's down to Levi to lose it, basically.
Yeah, this is a tough matchup for Taka because this really could have been and possibly should have been the final, Taka versus Levi.
Yeah.
And we're going to lose one of these competitors right here in the quarterfinal. So that kind of sucks. There's that mini flip.
That's a heavy duty. I mean, that's a big ramp that they built down there for him to be able to do that mini flip. And then there's that roll of his, that special flip variation.
Yeah, he takes off, holding onto the seat grab hole, spins 360 above and off the side of the bike, and then grabs back on. In watching that slow motion, it's crazy. He actually never lets go of the motorcycle.
Not really, no.
Somehow.
Well, you know what I foresee down the road, because Taka's got this great trick, the backflip rock solid. I could see him pulling a rock solid variation off of that after he gets really, really comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, it's a brand new trick.
Yeah.
He's been practicing back home in California. And look, the crowd absolutely loves him. And it wasn't that long ago that when Jeremy Stenberg actually kind of, quote unquote, discovered and invited Taka back to California with him to ride and train with him, helped him get sponsors, helped introduce him to everybody, helped him get into competitions, and now Taka is one of the top guys in the world in the last 3 years.
All right, next rider up is going to be that man right there, Levi Sherwood, another former World Tour champion. He wants it bad again, and he's on form.
Hey, I'm Levi Sherwood from New Zealand. I just go fishing for fun, for time out. An excuse to go to the beach and hang out with some friends and family. Don't ever really catch much, but it's just, yeah, it's all in enjoying doing it.
And maybe if you rode his bike in the water, he'd catch the fish.
You just dangle that mullet in. I'm sure something would be into it.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, not that I'm one to talk up here, as I myself am a purveyor of mullets, but
well, like I said yesterday, I don't think we can call yours a mullet anymore. I think yours qualifies as Cro-Magnon. Wow, double grab backflip right out of the gate by Levi Sherwood.
Starting off
big,
huge, and I love the extension that he's getting on that brand new trick for him. And then, the upside knack, turn down whip.
That's
and
a
Levi,
mouthful alone.
yeah, I don't know, we got to come up with a short name for that, because there is a lot going on as he really tweaks out that heart attack over to the dirt double. The Shaolin bar hop flip, I was calling that the starfish back in the day, Dan Pastor. And then old school, speaking of old school,
Lazy boy.
Lazy boy right side up, and then the bar hop to
bar
Superman backflip. Levi is pulling out all the stops right now.
Turntable
right into the really stretched out kiss of death backflip over the 90-foot dirt double, and he still has 12 seconds to go.
What hasn't he done in this run, really? I mean, he's got this thing chock-a-block with tricks as he goes for the heart attack flip one-hander, then uses that super kicker for the cliffhanger. Really nice. Wow, what a run from Levi Sherwood.
I saw one mistake that whole run, and he only came up 3 feet short on that last trick on the super kicker. Other than that, Levi just absolutely looking smooth as butter out there. Yeah. I love the fact that he's bringing new tricks to the game. That double grab backflip for Levi is it's a massive trick for anyone. There's only a few guys in the world that are actually doing it.
Well, you know what? He's the first guy, it's the first time for him bringing it in a big competition like this. Yeah. And we know that David Rinaldo has it. We know that Dany Torres has it. And the fact that Levi just threw it out there at this competition to say, yeah, guys, I'm there. I can do it. I'm with you. That says a lot about him.
And not only did he do it, just wait till you see this extension. Look at this. Here he goes. Ladder's back. Oh, and there's a double grab Indy. I didn't even catch that the first time. But look at the extension that he has. It's bigger than what anybody else is doing. And here, look at that. Upside knack in the middle of a nasty whip. Love that. Holy grab. Floats back to the grab handles. And then just tweaks it out sideways.
Maybe we call that an up whip knack. just to shorten it a bit.
And look at this, butt
Look at
to the
Shaolin.
fender.
Look, and there's that flexibility I was talking about before. I mean, there's not a lot of guys that beat themselves up as much as these guys do in the sport of freestyle motocross and still manage to maintain the amount of flexibility that Levi Sherwood does. And so, you know, that is such a critical thing, especially for Levi's riding style. It's so amazing to watch him, how well he can just tweak his body and make those tricks look huge. All right, variety belongs to Levi Sherwood. We didn't have the live energy judge going on that one. Execution, also Levi's. Wow, this is tough for Taka Higashino right now. Energy, clear, that one's gonna belong to Taka. We may have a battle still. 1 helmet to 2 so far. Use, of course, belongs to Levi. Levi goes to the semifinals. Unfortunate for Taka. We're not going to see him advancing any farther than quarterfinal action today. But Levi Sherwood back on form from a few years ago. 4 helmets to 1 win in that head-to-head for Levi Sherwood. And he is moving on to heat number 2 in the semifinal.
Well, that's really too bad for Taka because he has the bag of tricks to win this competition. Hands down, he won last year. He has the pride of his country really boosting him up for this, but when you get hurt the day before the event, there's nothing you can do. I mean, you just can't ride. I can't believe what he was doing out there with how swollen his foot is and how bad he was walking yesterday.
Well, he was walking bad down there. He got off the bike and he hobbled over and held onto the fence so he didn't fall over.
Yeah,
you know?
we're gonna see it again right now. I mean, we're gonna see he does not want to put pressure on that right foot. It's too bad.
Yeah.
But great showing. He made it through from round 1. Went up against the former champion. He has nothing to be sad about. And you know what, now there's a lot of pressure when you ride at home like this. There's interview after interview after interview after radio after TV after newspaper. Everyone wants a piece of you when you're at that level and you're the guy in your country. So I'm sure, even though he didn't want this to end, he said earlier this is a dream come true for him. So I'm sure tonight he's going to sleep well knowing, hey, it's done, now I can move on.
Like it was real windy, though.
All right, well, we're going to go down. I think Ronnie Renner's with Matt Ribot. We're going to find out what's on Matt Ribot's mind.
Ribot just came out of that quarterfinal, got defeated by Adelberg, but you look really strong. Are you happy with your ride?
Yeah, for sure. I'm super happy. You know, got 2 very hard season and just come back, my first X-Fighters of the season, and be on the top of the field, and I'm super happy. I had a good run. I was working on a 540 knack, and I pulled perfectly on my run, and what can be better?
Well, looks like you're really happy. I'm stoked to see your success. Are you happy with the progress you're making? It's been a long journey, huh?
Yeah, that's for sure. That was a long journey. I got a pretty good crash yesterday, but I'm fine, I'm safe, and the crowd is amazing up there, and I think everybody get a good time, and I'm ready to watch the show.
Right on, Matt. Thanks a lot.
It's so nice to see Matt Ribot back, feeling good. Look at that 540 flare, knack. It's great. He's such a good dude. He's been around a long time. He's had such a terrible last 3 years.
Yeah. And I love the fact that he says, yeah, I'm super proud to be the oldest guy on tour. You know, that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that. It's just great to see him back. And even though he didn't make it out of the quarterfinals, he's here, he's back. He had a great run, and I think this will keep him coming back now.
I think so too, and I mean, I'm really hoping that we see him on the remaining tour dates, and I'm pretty sure we will. The way he's riding, it's just it's the best thing ever for him and for us as well, because we never like to see, you know, one of the compadres not be able to ride. All right, coming up, semifinal action. Our first heat will be Remi Bizouard going up against Dany Torres. These guys are familiar with each other. They've battled head-to-head before. And not in X-Fighters, but in other events. And our second heat will be Rob Adelberg going up against Levi Sherwood. That'll be an Australasian battle down there with the Australian going up against the New Zealander. First up, Remi Bizouard, Dany Torres, semifinal, heat number 1. And the people here are having a ball. The announcers out there are just freaking out, having a great time. And everybody's just having a really good time down there, trying to stay cool. A little bit of breeze. Actually, it's not that bad. It doesn't seem to be disturbing the riders. So, you know, it's a good thing to keep everybody here a bit cool.
Yeah, and here we go. Remi Bizouard getting out on course. 15 seconds there marks the time he has to get comfortable, blow his bike out, and get started. And here he goes.
Straight into it, same start as before. Let's not forget the semifinal run is 90 seconds long, so they got more time on course.
It's that cliffhanger backflip on the start of the double-double. Good extension straight into the side saddle lander there, which just little tricks, little here and there, just really, these guys are all so close.
Wow, that was
the
long,
bar
the
hop
landing,
Shaolin to Flatlander almost. That's not going to get you extra points.
And tell me he didn't drift heavily left off of that second dirt double jump. He landed really far left on the landing ramp.
Yeah, I really think there's a lot of wind. You can just kind of see it blowing in his jersey and blowing on the trees back there. But there's no time to slow down. He flips his flip levers up there. Those are used to just leverage the bike back underneath you in some of these nasty trick flips like that kiss of death backflip.
The tsunami flip KOD. I mean, that is just, your arms just get wrenched with those levers as you try to pull the weight of the bike back around, eh?
Yeah, nice flatliner, a little bit front end high, kind of gets off course a little bit, but saves it well. Gets going, last 10 seconds on the clock. He's pumping the crowd up, saying, let's go. What's he got to finish off with here?
Nice.
Big turn down for Remi Bizouard. A pretty solid run out of him.
Yeah, not really much wasted time out there. Not any strange line choices. Pretty efficient. And I think he got everything out that he wanted to get out, and I think he'll be pretty happy with that run all in all.
Well, adding the extra 15 seconds from the quarterfinal to the semifinals here, that means a lot of the times it changes the guy's entire run.
Yeah.
Because it's not like you just tack on 4 more tricks to the end because you've already done all your tough tricks, so you kind of got to rethink everything.
Well, these guys write their trick books for the runs, and then they stamp them onto the bar pad there. And I think some of these guys have 2 trick books, depending on, you know, whether or not they think they're going to make it into the next round or not. So I'm pretty sure that Remi has gotten the trick book, ripped off the first one, and layered out the second one to be ready for this 90-second run. And, you know, quite honestly, he did a good job. Look at that backdrop there. And the extension is just fantastic.
Incredible extension. Little over rotation there, but still really lays that out nice. Nice and smooth, and now it is up to Mr. Torres.
Yeah, Dany's been riding really well this weekend, though. I mean, he's been relaxed, confident. His dad and his brother are both here, as always, supporting him in his endeavor to try and get onto the top of the podium. And it's entirely possible that we're going to see a Levi Sherwood, Dany Torres final. But, you know, Remi Bizouard rode a good run there, so Dany's got to bring it.
Well, there's one thing Dany's good at, is bringing it.
There's no doubt about that.
And I feel this course is good for him. I mean, he is a master of the bull rings, but he's seemed very comfortable here all weekend long. He's looked calm and happy. And really, starting off, that big 360, not a bad way to start off a 90-second run.
Not bad at all. And just to go back to what you said about being used to the bull rings, you know, this is a big course, but it's a very tight course at the same time with all of the ramp distribution. So, you know, that could be playing to his strengths as a guy who manages to get from ramp to ramp quickly and efficiently and easily with confidence.
Yeah, and there's Paris Hill backflip into the double-double, and then launches the dirt double, lays out a double grab, nice, holds it. Everything looks good so far for Dany Torres.
Lazy boy flip right there, straight into the next jump, into that kiss of death ruler. there it is. There's the double grab backflip. And I think that might be the backbreaker here for Remi Bizouard. And now Use, of course, is going to play it. Like you said earlier, he doesn't have the big banger off the quarter pipe, but he does use it.
He used it.
That's a big deal.
Important. And then right over to the super kicker. So getting the quarter pipe and the super kicker in, and a great trick on the super kicker, backflip Cordova.
Yeah. So that's the line that I was talking about earlier on, and you know, like I said, it could be a tactical decision that he didn't do it in that first run, so they would have it ready in his mind for the second run here. Wow, and he's gotten a lot of extra tricks in the last 5 to 7 seconds. So that was a great run from Dany Torres. I don't think there's any question that Dany Torres is going to take the helmets on this one.
Yeah, I don't think there is. I mean, he really was the class of that field right there. Yeah. But what I saw out of him right there, and what we saw to Levi earlier, Dany's going to have to step his game up a little bit.
Well, yeah, and the difference here is that Levi does that double grab backflip over the longer distance here onto the big landing, and Dany's got it over the shorter distance here right in front of us.
And to compare apples to apples, Levi's got the extension, and he holds it longer. You'll notice Dany, when we watch it in slow motion, Dany's, we call it ladder. He's taking one hand back and then the other hand back, and then right away he's back onto the bars, and you'll see it here in a minute. Yeah. But there's that 360 starting off.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think we saw Sherwood do a 360 in his run, so that could be a balancing point.
Yeah, there's definitely a few differences, and Levi does not hit the quarter pipe.
Yeah.
So not that Dany does a lot on it, but
it's still use of course.
He touches it, and I don't know if I agree if that should be a big difference maker or not, but rules are rules, and he uses it.
Well, it's like
here we go. Here's that double grab. Look at that. Ladder's back, and then right away.
Okay, but the only thing that's really not super sexy about that is the ladder back. The stretch was good. He had good extension. You know, he arches his back.
He did. He just didn't. Not that I'm one to be picking it apart, but if our job is to pick it apart, Levi's is better.
One of these days, he's going to blow us all away with a 540 flare off of that one, and we're going to be freaking out up here in the booth because there's been talk about it. Now we're in the second year of talking about how, Dany Torres has got the 540 flare, and you know, you said it earlier, he's done it into his foam pit, but he needs to bring it to the big stage here.
And Dany, we keep talking about it, but Dany is definitely that guy who wants to feel 100% confident. We can't use the word he wants to be safe because look what they're doing. I mean, he's doing a double grab backflip over an 80-foot ramp. So
we've been talking about the battle of styles here. Well, this style battle between Remi Bizouard and Dany Torres is very similar. They're both guys that have to have those perfect runs before they'll go out and throw down a competition run. You know, whereas, you know, when we're looking back to the earlier rounds, Matt Rabeau going up against Rob Adelberg or Wes Agee against Remi Bizouard, you know, there's two different style battles going on in those two heats.
Now we're letting the judges tabulate up there.
They're doing a lot of work right now.
Yeah, they're doing a lot of work, and they're definitely some. Jason Moriarty's earning his paycheck today as the head judge. It seems like there's some definite back and forth, and we can only tell this by looking at our screen and the different scores changing. But it's not usually like this.
Well, what we see here is a tie score, and so Jason's got to go back and look at previous scores to figure out, you know, who had the higher previous scores, and you know, perhaps he can explain to us a little bit more. I don't know if we're going to be able. We see him on screen there. He's definitely studying those sheets very intensely, so maybe we'll get an explanation from him after we find out who's actually going to advance. Variety belongs to Dany Torres. Execution of the tricks, that one belongs to Remi Bizouard, so we've got two even Stevens right now. Style goes to Remi. So right now, Remi Bizouard has the advantage over Dany Torres, but then use, of course, clear. Use of the quarter pipe is going to go to Dany Torres, so it comes down to energy. Oh my goodness! Remi Bizouard takes the third helmet, so Remi Bizouard will advance to his first X-Fighters final ever.
I'm really confused right now, Troy, I have to say, and hopefully we're going to be able to check in with head judge Jason Moriarty, because I'm actually blown away right now.
I'm surprised, really.
Not usually am I this surprised. This is the most surprised I may have been on a judging decision.
Well, I mean, between the two of us, I think we're both surprised because we saw that, you know, Dany had the double grab flip. He used the quarter pipe, and, you know, those are two things for me that should be selling points. And I think he had one or two extra jumps in his run. And Remi Bizouard, nothing against Remi. He's a great rider, but quite honestly, I'm not really sure that he had the same quality that Dany Torres did. We both said that. All right, we're moving straight on to the second semifinal. Rob Adelberg against Levi Sherwood. And Rob starting right away with that cliffhanger flip over the big jump just to our right here.
I'm still in shock, Troy. I can't talk. I'm still in shock. And Rob Adelberg throwing down the base jumper. He's looking solid, and he's got a tough go here.
There was a nice indie flip to heel clicker combo, and then the big Shaolin to no-hander lander. I like that he's opting for the risky technical landings on those
not a lot of no-handed landings going on today. You can tell they've got these jumps propped up a little bit, so they're super poppy, and I think that's really kind of holding a lot of the guys back from doing the no-handed landers that we're used to seeing in a competition at this level.
Well, at this point, Rob's the only guy who's pulled out the no-hander lander, and normally we're seeing guys like Libor Podmol, who's super confident and comfortable with the no-hander lander off of the cliffhanger, and, you know, he just wasn't going for it. But Rob looking good here with a nice kiss of death tsunami flip into that one-handed heart attack with that just fantastic extension.
Now he's got that extra 10 seconds here.
Hopefully he doesn't blow it.
Yeah, come on, Rob, you gotta get going here, buddy. Oh,
he's gonna let the time run out. Yeah. He could have had 2 extra jumps in there.
Or 4. I mean, he had an extra 15 seconds. He didn't do one single jump in the last 15 seconds. That was definite bad time management for Rob Adelberg, and he's up against Levi, so it's gonna be really tough anyway, but he really, really should have paid better attention to the clock there.
Well, I think a lot of that has to do with experience, and let's face it, Rob is an experienced rider, but as far as X-Fighters is concerned, he's only been on the tour a couple years now, so, you know, we got to give him a bit of the benefit of the doubt here that maybe he didn't really think about it as well as he maybe should have. But that being said, you know, he's got guys that are in his corner that should be helping him out with stuff like that. You know, Mini has been doing this for a long time as his mechanic, and Mini should be able to come up to him and say, look, you know what, think about your run a little bit more. You got 90 seconds here.
Well, he did his exact quarterfinal run, and then finished with that one-hand heart attack, and then never did anything else.
Yeah,
except
like
a couple
you said,
wheelies,
the 15 seconds left in his 90 seconds, and he didn't go for it.
But great extension out of Rob. Very solid run.
Yeah.
The things that he did do, he did very well. So Sherwood can't slack off here.
All right, next up, Levi Sherwood in the second semifinal head-to-head battle. Still a lot of speculation going on up here with us because of that previous heat between Bizouard and Torres. Quite interesting, the decision there. Maybe we'll hear from...
Well, there's definitely a lot going on up in that judges' tower, as we can see things moving around, and we're still actually waiting on our score from judge number 2. As Levi's ready to go.
There you go. That's a fan right there. Brings a picture frame from home for the autograph session. Well, that just tells you about the fans here in Osaka and in Japan in general, you know. They are passionate fans.
They are passionate, and moving into the second half of our Australia versus New Zealand battle right now. Levi, eyes closed, visualizing his run. Trying not to fog his goggles up right now because it is muggy and hot.
It is very muggy, yeah.
And now it looks like we've finalized all the judges' scores. We're ready to move to Levi Sherwood. This is a big one for him right now. Speaking of big ones, starts off with a massive kiss of death backflip. Love how this kid extends all his tricks. And there, the upside knack, the whip.
Cliffhanger. Yeah, he's not trusting himself to go to that base jumper there, not at all.
I think there's just too much pop on these ramps with them propped up like they are, so the guys are landing pretty hard. So far, the identical run from the quarterfinals. And he is hauling there.
Yeah, he's going real fast on this run.
Racing a national moto there on this KTM.
I dig that lazy boy, the way he reaches back and grabs that rear fender with his hands.
Yeah, like that, and then that's a great combo. The bar hop to Superman, front of the bike to the back of the bike, all while doing a backflip. Levi's really looking solid.
Double grab, flip.
Double grab, Indian air, a little bit short.
Yeah.
But not too bad, not enough to cause any worry or injury. And there, 360 for Levi.
That was huge.
Yeah, that was really nice. And then a bit of a holy grab off the super kicker.
Now the critical time comes in. Will Levi use these extra seconds? And it clearly, you know, he does right away. He's got his line set and figured out.
Into a heart attack flip. 3 seconds, 1 second on the clock.
Wow, that's going to be a close call.
We have to check in and see if this is going to count. As he gets a no-handed Superman. Finishes off with a nice 9 o'clock knack.
So we're looking at, we could have potentially 2 extra jumps in his run if the judges determine that he was under power more than halfway through that last bank turn.
On top of the 3 extra jumps he did in that final 15 seconds of his run. So that's a tough one for Adelberg.
Yeah, it is really hard because Adelberg basically wasted those last 15 seconds.
Yeah, so the crowd is going off right here. We can barely hear ourselves talk up in the booth.
And that's wearing headphones, folks.
Love the sportsmanship that all these guys share. Everyone, they're all competitors, but they're all very respectful because freestyle is not really a competition against each other. They're competing with doing the best that they can do, and then it's in the hands of the judges.
Yeah, it's really a competition against the judges.
Yeah, exactly. And as we've seen today, you never know where the judges are going because you can't sit at home, you can't sit up here and do what we do and judge the way that they judge sitting up there because they're writing down every single trick. They're scoring every single trick, every single extension. Look at that. Double grab, Indian air backflip from Levi. Perfection.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, it's like you said, the only thing that was wrong with that jump was it came up a little bit short. And just going back to what you're talking about, you know, it's fun to be an armchair judge or an armchair coach or whatever, but at the end of the day, those guys up there, they're being paid in order to pick apart these runs. And these days, you can't watch just the tricks. You have to watch the mistakes that these guys are making because that's the only way to figure out who's going to be on top.
They're looking at so many little tiny nuances between the position of their feet, the position of their hands. How did the tires hit that landed the same way, or were you front end high or front end low? Did you get the full extension? How did that guy's extension look? Where did you pull the trick in the rotation of your flip? Was it early? Was it late? Was it right on time? There's so many things that go into each and every trick, and then they do 15 tricks out there. So it's a tough job. I'm so happy to not be doing that, and we have the best judges that there are. So you know what? We can guess up here, but we don't actually know until we're judging every single trick.
All right, well, we already know that Remi Bizouard is our first rider in the final, so now it's going to come down to the judging decision between Rob Adelberg and Levi Sherwood, and it's taken a long time up there. They're still working everything out clearly, and here we go, finally. Variety, that belongs to Sherwood. Execution, also going to Sherwood by a half point. Style. Look at how close these are, 81-82. Style belongs to Sherwood, so that means
moves on.
Sherwood is going into the final against Remi Bizouard. And it's going to be, it looks like a sweep for Levi Sherwood. 5 helmets to none against Rob Adelberg, so that's that. Levi Sherwood will go up against Remi Bizouard in the final, an experienced finals rider in Levi Sherwood on X Fighters, and a first-timer in the final in Remi Bizouard.
I'm not. Has Remi even ever made it to the semifinals at a Red Bull X Fighters? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. The last time we saw Remi ride, he rode in the quarterfinals, and no, actually, I don't even think he made the quarterfinals because he broke his leg.
He broke his
leg
in Dubai. Well, these guys are going to have 5 minutes to go back, take a drink, get some quiet time. Maybe Levi can have another nap or something. You know, it just seems like when this kid is mellow and just kind of in his own little world, that's when he does the best, and he is just in a league of his own right now.
Yeah, he has come back into a form that we saw from a few years ago when he became World Tour champion. So, you know, it's really cool to see where he's at again, and that just means that everybody else has got to bring up their game.
Now we got a little train going on from these guys out here. Genki even getting in on it.
I didn't think I was going to get all those jumps at the end. I was like, I should pull out, and I'm like, oh fuck, I kind of already committed.
Oh, and Levi.
All right, well, Dany Torres, who's been eliminated from competition, we're going to go down with Ronnie
Torres.
Renner and hear from them right now.
Had a lot of hard work this week. Looks a little bit disappointed. Tell me what happened in that run.
I'm really happy with my run because I don't have a mistake. Just I don't know, that's the judges. You know what I mean? I don't know. Today I did a double with a flip, and yesterday I didn't. You know, and I don't know. I after I go to speak with the judges because some judges I don't know what point. You know, I don't know because I know that. You know, today I go more faster than yesterday. I think, you know, I don't know, I'm really sad right now.
Have a talk with him. That's a big competition, a competitive field here. You're disappointed, obviously, it goes without saying, but are you going to come back stronger in Madrid?
I hope, but now when I leave to my home, I will like to practice really hard for Madrid. And I will try some new trick for Las Ventas, and that's it. Today for me is done, and now I want to leave to my home.
Always looking forward. Thanks, Dany.
Well, Madrid is hometown for Dany Torres, and you know, there he is going to be using every ounce of that hometown advantage with the audience that are so wild in Madrid to try and come back and make up for what's happened here. But you heard him himself, he doesn't understand what the judges were thinking, and I think we're kind of on the same page with him up here.
Yeah, you know what, I would never want to bag on the judges because it is the hardest job in the world, but I'm definitely wondering what happened there, and Dany's like, Dany's one of those riders who, if he would have made a mistake, he would have said, hey, I made a mistake, you know, I missed this jump, or I missed this trick, or I didn't extend this. Dany had a great run, so. And
he even said he added in that the bar hopper flip, and, you know, the double grab flip was in the run as well, so.
Yeah, he, you know, I think he's right, he's rightfully bombed. He will be coming back. Next stop, only a month away in Madrid, so he will come back hard. That is where he just, I mean, is so good. As we're still just inundated with 12 guys out there just throwing down in a massive train. They're just going
non-stop.
Yeah,
I think we're going to finally get a picture of it here for you. Look at this.
Whoa.
These guys are just going off out there.
Dice was just absolutely kiss of death, tweaked way off the side of the bike. And now we're getting ready. Levi Sherwood, Remi Bizouard in his first ever final.
Remi's going to be pumped. I don't know. Like, Remi's an interesting guy. He's mentally very, very strong. And I have to ask myself, coming into this event here and coming to the final as far as he's gotten, knowing that he's going up against Levi Sherwood, I wonder how strong that mental situation will be for him, or if he's going to be freaking out inside that helmet.
He doesn't, I don't know Remi at all, actually, just very, very, very little, just a few conversations, but he doesn't seem like the type of dude to get too excited, too freaked out. He just, like, he's been around a long time. He hasn't been on this tour for a long time, but he's been around
for a long time.
For many, many years. He's got many contests under his belt. He's won a bunch of contests around the world. So, yeah, he's going up against Levi Sherwood in the final, but I feel like it'll be business as usual. The only thing that he's missing, I feel, is Levi's bag of tricks is so deep right now that I feel Remi wasn't pulling out a couple of his top-level tricks in the earlier round. So I wonder if he's going to dig deep and bring that double grab flip and a few of his banger tricks into this final.
Well, we'll definitely see, because, you know, Remi is in it now. He's going to be, worst case, second place here on the podium at the Red Bull X Fighters Osaka. And our final is coming up here, folks. And if you're just joining us, what were you thinking? You missed some incredible action. And if you've been with us all day long, you've seen what we consider a bit of controversy. You've seen some fantastic riding. You're seeing now some amazing fans. I mean, they are just all over it here. They are loving what's going on here in front of the Osaka Castle in Osaka, Japan. The 2014 tour continues with Remi Bizouard in the final here up next.
This time, I'm ready for Red Bull X Fighters.
Yeah, Remi Bizouard has not had the best of luck in previous Red Bull X Fighters, so the fact that he is sitting here in the final could be a very, very big thing for him. Not only in the fact that, you know, he's doing it well for his sponsors, but also for the fact that his confidence level will go through the roof. And he starts off with that beautiful, that heart attack, one-hand heart attack flip.
Man, he threw that thing because you saw he got all crooked in the air, get all twisted up, and really big extension there on the cliffhanger backflip. Gets over to the super kicker. So far, 3 for 3, same run as he's been doing all day.
Yeah, and let's not forget, this is another 90-second run for these guys. Oh, he got tangled up on the bike there, but he managed to bring it around, and now it's kind of messed him up a bit. Hopefully he can recollect himself into this corner.
Behind him and move on. It's really difficult once you screw up like that in a run to kind of get back, but really nice whip flip.
Side saddle lander, so he looks like he's back in it, and Levi Sherwood is not watching this run. He's sitting down there and praying the whole time, and 30 seconds remaining in the run. Remi's going to keep it going. Big tsunami kiss of death backflip, and that's the way he's got to get back into it. So talking about his mental state before, coming back really strong from what could have been a disastrous mistake in his run. Flatliner, stretches it out, lines up again. Time is ticking off as he goes for that one-hand heart attack. And he's going to let these last seconds tick away, I think. Well, he'll take one last jump.
Huge whip.
Huge whip.
Yeah, that was really nice. Great way to finish up. I'm not sure if it's going to count.
Yeah, he's bummed about that too, and I think he's tweaked his right hand a little bit, fighting his way down from that landing. We'll watch in the replays here as he heads over to say hi to the audience there over on the side, looks for a place to park that big old heavy 100-kilo motorcycle of his, and he's just going to jump up into the audience and say hi to everybody, maybe have a seat and a drink and refresh with the crew here in Japan. Obviously not afraid to get close and personal with the fans, and that's awesome.
That's too bad. Just a quick little mistake. Got his feet tangled up. Couldn't tell if he was actually going for a bar hop or Shaolin backflip, or possibly his foot position kind of looked like maybe a stripper flip.
Well, let's look at this again here. Great extension on that backflip cliffhanger. And so far, everything looked really good.
That's when he comes back around here. This should be it. Let's see. So backflip goes.
He wanted that Shaolin flip, and lucky that he didn't get more tangled up on the bike as he.
That's how he saved that. He should get extra points for saving that one right there, because most guys, there's no way he should have saved that. really nice job.
Yeah.
He just dragged his leg on, or his foot onto that bar pad, and then had to make a quick decision.
Yeah, he got that left foot hooked up, and he
All
was in
well
trouble.
upside down, mind you.
Yeah, could have gone to a stripper flip off of that. Actually.
Yeah, I know.
But the fact that he brought that back around and then managed to ride the rest of his run was very good. Okay, last run of the day for Levi Sherwood.
Ready to do this? Let's get out there on my bike.
Yeah, not much emotion there. You know what? He wants to ride. He wants to bring it right now.
Well, no matter what, Remi Bizouard will be in second place on the podium today, and he can't be disappointed with that. Of course, he's going to be a little bit upset with his run, but Levi Sherwood is on it now. Let's see how he does in this run. He's got to stay focused.
Right now, it is Levi Sherwood's to lose.
Yes, absolutely.
Which is even worse than having to go 100%, because right now, Levi could ride at 90% and win this thing, but that sometimes is the worst position to be in, Troy, because if you're used to competing at 100% and then your brain knows, hey, I could take this a little bit easy, that's when mistakes happen. And so far, so good for Levi. 60 seconds left on the clock.
Tons of time
the starfish backflip there for him. Not quite the extension we saw earlier, but lazy boy into the bar hop.
Superman.
Yeah, but look, his extensions aren't exactly as good as they were in the quarterfinal, the semifinal. So hopefully his mind stays sharp right now for the rest of his run.
Oh!
Backflip double grab, Indian air, 30
Again,
seconds
a bit
left.
short.
Yeah, a bit short, same jump as before, but still looking really good, floating that 360 around. Looks really like Nate Adams on the way he does his 360s the way Nate does, just really nice and easy, kind of floats it out.
Time counting down as he goes for the turntable there, and one more jump will do it for Levi Sherwood as he goes for that heart attack one hand flip.
Looking really solid. He's going to push this one out, and they may actually give him this one. No-handed Superman. I'm not sure. I don't think he won't even need these to take on the win. I don't think so. Great run by Levi Sherwood to finish up. It's a tough position to be in, like I said, to know you don't have to be perfect. But sometimes, as he gets the quadruple fist pump over there, I think Levi's happy. And we could see the first repeat winner of the year as he throws his goggles into the crowd.
Well, back-to-back wins for Levi Sherwood would definitely cement his position in this 5-stop world tour for the Red Bull X Fighters. But yeah, it still comes down to a judging decision. We said this before with the battle between Bizouard and Torres. It was clear for us, but you know what? Remi ended up in the final. So
look at that extension,
I don't think we could say it's clear for us anymore because we just don't know what the judges are going to say up there.
Nothing
but you're right.
is clear, but
Levi Sherwood's just, you know, he's just one step above at this point.
I'd love to see that too. I didn't notice that he's rocking the Caselli 66 butt patch there for a friend of ours that passed away a few months ago. Really, what a great community all these guys are.
First helmet belongs
really
to Levi Sherwood for variety execution. Also going to go to Levi Sherwood.
Oh, look at that, 83 to 75,
yeah, that's a
not
big gap
even
right
close.
There. Style,
and that's
82
it,
to 80.
Levi.
That's it. Levi Sherwood's your winner. Remi Bizouard flows into second place, so the silver goes to Remi here. Levi Sherwood with gold and a full pull of 5 helmets here in the final.
As it should have been.
As it should have been. You know, without that small mistake in Remi's run, we might have seen a different result as far as where the helmet distribution was. All in all, though, I'd say Remi Bizouard can be very, very satisfied with making a first final ever for him on the Red Bull X Fighters, as well as sitting in second place on the podium here for the second event on the tour. So good job by the young Frenchman for getting out there and really showing what he's worth, being thrown into the final, as we say, a little bit surprised with the results, but yeah, there you go. Dany Torres should be in second place, or third place, excuse me.
Well, the nice thing now is we have moved into where the throwout rule does apply, so any rider that rides every round up till the final, his lowest tour stop score will be dropped automatically. So that will come into play for a guy like Dany. For not making it tonight, that will be dropped. So you're correct. I think we see him continue to move up to second place. I'm guessing in the finals. We'll see. We'll get the official look at the bracket here in a minute.
Yeah, and based on head-to-head victories, Dany Torres has the win here. So that means he's going to have third place on the podium with Rob Adelberg in fourth place. So our podium tonight is definitely Sherwood on top and Remi Bizouard in second place. We should see Dany Torres in the bronze medal position as Levi Sherwood cements his position at the top of the leaderboard. And there you see, normally we would see 200 points there for Levi Sherwood. Or that's the results for Osaka, excuse me. So that's a win for Sherwood. And there you see the rest of the guys from top to bottom.
Now Taka's going to have some work to do, and Thomas Pages down in 9th place.
9th place and 20 points for him, so that's a throwout for him after this one.
Wow.
So Ronnie Renner is down with one of our guys. We're going to hear from him in a second. He's with Levi right now.
I'm here with tonight's champion, Levi Sherwood. What a week of riding. You absolutely dominated. Tell me how you feel right now in front of this Osaka crowd.
Really relieved. This one was a huge challenge. Going into the first run of Taka was massive. Haven't beaten him in a few years now, so doing that alone is a win for me. So, but yeah, Remi was challenging, and so was Rob. So it was a good night.
What is your secret to coming back so strong this year?
Just put everything down and have fun.
Congratulations, Levi. Absolute domination.
Thank you.
Well, there you go.
Man, a few words there, Levi Sherwood. But you know what? He lets his riding do the talking, as we just saw.
Well, I was thinking maybe it's the fishing that helps him center himself that he talked about earlier. But I tell you what a great two first events for Levi Sherwood on this 2014 Red Bull X Fighters Tour, cementing himself as the absolute leader in the overall rankings here. And as you alluded to earlier, as of this event through to the remainder of the remaining 3 events, the throwout rule takes effect. So
well, it takes effect, but let me just point out what I think is the right interpretation of the rule, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. We see Tom Pages down there in 9th. He is not eligible for the throwout rule, I don't think, for pulling out voluntarily out of this competition. I think a big fat 0 is going to end up scoring for him, because the rule does state that at the discretion of Tess Sewell, the sport director, you need a good reason to not attend an event. And even though he attended, he decided not to ride on his own. So I think that goose egg is going to end up there and leave him sitting in 9th place.
Well, confirming that we'll have to do for sure, but as I understand it, he'll get the 20 points for the event here because he did qualify in 6th place, and so does qualify for the throwout rule. And we're looking at our podium right now. 3rd place does in fact go to Dany Torres, 2nd place to Remi Bizouard, and our winner here tonight in Osaka, Levi Sherwood, 2 in a row for him, so he does back it up with a 2nd win on the tour in 2 events. Going into the next event coming up in Madrid, Spain, is going to be a tough one, because he's going to be going up against the hometown advantage of Dany Torres, who has always been strong in Spain, but we've seen that Levi Sherwood has so many quality tricks, and he has been so solid this year that it's going to be a really, really solid battle heading towards the next event in Madrid. And these guys are just having a ball and getting the girls up there absolutely soaked. And look at the grin on Remi Bizouard's face. 2nd place for him. Remi Bizouard, Dany Torres, and Levi Sherwood, your podium here in Osaka, Japan, for the 2nd event of the Red Bull X Fighters Tour 2014. The next one coming up is a fan favorite as well as a rider favorite. We're heading to Madrid, Spain, to the Bull Ring in the Plaza de Toros.
Next month, it's not far off.
Next month, it's not far off. And that's another big deal for these riders because it's been 2 months between the first event in Mexico and this event here in Osaka, and now it's only 3 weeks, or not even, it's quite just a couple of days longer than 3 weeks, heading towards the next event in Madrid. So not a lot of time for these guys to reset themselves and get some new tricks in the bag. All right, so we're going to take a look really quickly here what the overall standings are, and we'll get into the throwout rule a bit more in depth here. But basically, as of this event, the throwout rule is in effect. When we see our overall bracket, you'll get a little bit of a clearer idea of how it works. Remi Bizouard celebrating a silver at this event in second place. What a fantastic effort for him. All right, so the World Tour standings, we look at Levi Sherwood is on top. Normally he'd have 200 points there, but because one event is thrown out, at this point he's still got just the 100 points. So the throwout rule works as of this event. The lowest score is thrown out for each of these guys. Remi Bizouard sitting in second place. Josh Sheehan, who wasn't participating here today, is in third place because of no participation. This one doesn't count for him, so he keeps his score from the event in Mexico. And because of the nature of the score for Thomas Pages, 20 points, so he's not in the top 5 anymore.
Yeah, that's a tough one for Tom. I can't say that I agree with his decision not to ride. I think he could have maybe held back some tricks, saved some points, but like he said to us yesterday in the pits, I only ride to win, and I can't do what my tricks are here, so I'm not comfortable with the course.
And he says he wanted to ride 100% for the audience here and his fans around the world. So it's an unfortunate decision, but you know what? That's the way it goes on X Fighters. Thanks a lot for joining us, everybody. We hope you enjoyed our show here from Osaka, Japan, and congratulations to our 3 winners, Dany Torres, Remi Bizouard, and the top guy here in Osaka, and the top guy on our tour so far, Levi Sherwood. We'll see you all in Madrid, Spain. I'm Troy Mannering signing off for Andy Bell. Take it easy, and until next month, ciao everyone.